So saddle fitting and the correct saddle fit is very important in our horse mastership. We are the advocate for our horse. A correctly fitting saddle will give your horse longevity with muscles and joints. If you were to imagine wearing a pair of shoes 2 sizes too big or too small, you would experience discomfort. So it is essential that we do our very best to ensure that the saddle fits the horse's back. We're here with Cassimo, who is a 15-hand German riding pony. I'm going to show you the parameters of where the saddle should sit on the horse's back. The saddle sits between the 8th thoracic vertebrae and the 18th. The 8th thoracic vertebrae is found 2 fingers behind the back of the scapula. So we can see the scapula here. So we go 2 fingers directly upwards. Two fingers. This is the 8th. The 18th is the last rib. So if you feel your horse's side, working your way back, you come to the last rib and they come up at this angle. They don't go straight up, they come up this way. So this is our bearing surface, 8th to the 18th. So we're going to take just a quick look at some different saddles on Cassimo to give you an idea of what's right, what's not right. When you're trying the saddles at home, have your horse on as level ground as possible. Here we can see we have T8 and 18. And when we put the saddle on the horse's back, good boy, we're going to do it without a saddle pad. So the dots are covered up. The tree of the saddle is actually, the points of the tree are buried under here, but you can locate them by these 2 nails. These 2 nails go straight through the point of the tree. That wants to sit at T8. So if we lift up, we can see the sticker is underneath there. So the saddle is behind the back of the scapula, allowing the motion of the scapula to swing. As you can see, this is actually too long for him. We've gone past the green dot. So this could potentially cause discomfort here in this area with the rider's weight in it, which is where the horse's kidneys are. Another example of what we're looking for when we are fitting our horses with saddles is the width. Locate T8, the points of the tree located where the 2 nails are. This comes right on the money at T18. However, if you draw an imaginary line between my 2 fingers, it's running downhill. So when we come and stand at the withers and look, this saddle is actually too wide. We want to get 3 fingers stacked on top of each other between the wither and the lowest point under the gullet. So I can just barely get 2. So it's too low in front, too high in the back, and it will cause a rocking motion. So that is a sample that's too wide for your horse. Another saddle, the point of the tree located where the nail is, right underneath at T8, sits nicely behind the scapula. What we don't want to do is have the saddle too far forward. We have great clearance here at the wither. 3 fingers stacked on top to the wither, to the lowest point of the gullet, and 2 fingers either side to allow for your horse to turn. Come to the last rib and go up, and there we are, right on the money where the green dot is. The last thing we want to check is to lift the sweat flap and look under here, or feel. You want to make sure that that panel is bearing all the way along the contours of the horse's back. The deepest part of the seat is in the middle, over the centre of gravity, which is usually between the 12th and 13th rib. So the rider would be nicely balanced. It's a great balance this way. With a close contact saddle, a mono, a jumping saddle, the flaps are more forward cut, but this is just here for the rider and it moves. This is completely flexible. This is where the bearing surface starts, is at the point of the tree. So, point of the tree, locate the nails. What we see here is the saddle is too short and it's sitting uphill. This will create the rider to sit at the back of the cantle and cause pressure here at the back, and what usually happens is the saddle will ride forward because the rider's weight is not in the middle of the seat. When we look at the front of this saddle too, it is very high. We can almost drive a bus down the front. I can literally get my whole hand down the front. So because it's high and it's low in the back, if we lift the sweat flaps and look under here, what we actually have is bridging. Bridging is where the panel in the middle of the saddle doesn't make contact with the horse's back, and we get something called 4-point contact, where we have contact here at the front and at the back and nothing under the middle. Again, we're looking where the points of the tree are, feel to the last rib, follow it up, and this saddle is way too long. It's actually nicely balanced. The deepest part is in the middle of the seat, but we're too long here. Last jumping saddle. Locate T8. You can always slide the saddle back till it doesn't want to slide anymore. The nails go straight through the point of the tree. We locate it here, behind the scapula, come to the last rib, follow that rib up, right on the money at T18. This is a nice little fit for this horse. 3 fingers clearance. We have 2 fingers either side, and the deepest part of the seat is in the middle. And that's a nice balance. So I hope that these small guidelines and tips have helped you assess your saddle at home on the horse's back without pads. The next step would be to watch the horse and rider together as a pair. If you need more information or have more saddle questions, SmartPak's customer care team is always willing to help. Give them a call anytime or visit smartpak.com. Have a great ride.